A major player in the ongoing Stamp Farm saga is sentenced. FFA chapters across the state are set to celebrate National FFA Week, and Michigan Agricultural Commodities' Chris Betts will join us with a market update. I'm Janelle Brose, and this is Farm News 5.
Farm News 5 is brought to you by Ford.
James Beecraft Jr., the second co-defendant and a former employee involved with the now bankrupt Decatur-based Stamp Farms LLC, was sentenced to a year and 1 day in prison for conspiracy of making false statements on crop insurance. He also has to pay more than $648,000 in restitution to the Risk Management Agency. Beecraft was originally named in 3 counts of a 14-count federal indictment, but reached a plea deal. His attorney says Beecraft could get a shorter sentence if he testifies at Michael Stamp's upcoming trial in federal court. Following action last week by the State House of Representatives, the Michigan Senate this week passed a resolution to reject Governor Gretchen Whitmer's executive order to restructure the Department of Environmental Quality. The EO would have also abolished Michigan Farm Bureau-supported oversight committees charged with reviewing environmental rules and permit decisions. With the Senate's vote, the executive order is nullified, and the oversight committees, for now, remain in effect.
If you want a car from a company that's been building them for 115 years, get a Ford. If you want a car with driver assist technology, get a Ford. You're gonna want a Ford.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer gave her first State of the State address Tuesday, February 12th, laying out her priorities for 2019 and beyond, including fixing the roads and a renewed focus on education.
There's no doubt there are some wonderful things happening in our state. There are also some very serious challenges. Today, Michigan is confronting 2 major crises. The first is our failing infrastructure, and you knew I was going to talk about it. From our roads to our water, infrastructure is the crisis that we see. We see it in our commutes, we see it in our communities, and in our homes. But the second crisis is harder to see, but every one of us knows it exists. It is the crisis in education and skills. And just like infrastructure, it impacts every single one of us. Our employers, our workers, and all of our kids.
There was a couple things that did come out of the State of the State address, and that was some of our priorities too that we line up with. When you talk about infrastructure, roads, absolutely, that's something that as Farm Bureau we want to work with to see if we can find a solution to help that infrastructure, roads, bridges, etc. Also, schools. We've been talking for years trying to implement more, I guess you could say, career technical training, more skilled trades, not necessarily the bachelor's degree, but maybe an associate degree or even just a skilled trade, which those jobs are very well paid for, compensated, and are in high demand within the state.
Providing growers with information to help them be more profitable was the goal of the annual Michigan Agricultural Commodities Outlook Conference. MAC held their 16th annual event on February 7th in Bath, Michigan.
We try to look at topics that we think are, 1, pertinent, and 2, what they're not necessarily getting at other farm shows or marketing meetings that they go to. You know, this is meeting season, as they call it. And so we hope to bring something a little bit more unique, so to speak.
A variety of topics were covered, including weather, managing farm economics in difficult times, farm succession planning, and soil fertility and nitrogen management.
What do you spend on a pound of nitrogen per bushel of potential gain in corn? So all of a sudden you're saying, well, maybe I think I could be, 10, 15, 20 units short of my total nitrogen program. Well, all of a sudden, what it's going to cost you to put on 15 or 20 more pounds of nitrogen if you are short is not that much money compared to the potential bushel gain. So we've got some plots in years that what I would call nitrogen thirsty, 2014, 2015, we had a lot of denitrification and leaching in June. We've got plots that showed 20 to nearly 40 bushel gains by making sure we had enough nitrogen available late season. I mean, those are big, big dollars when you talk about, what it costs to put on that little extra nitrogen.
Planning for 2019 and beyond? Foster Swift's Ag Law team offers comprehensive legal counsel for farmers and businesses.
FFA chapters in Michigan and around the country will be celebrating National FFA Week February 16th through the 23rd. The annual event brings together past and present members of FFA to help others in their school and community learn about agriculture. The week is marked by special events including Wear Blue Day on February 22nd to show FFA pride, and Give FFA Day on February 19th, an opportunity for the public to support the educational initiatives at the organization. With a look at the latest market activity, here is Michigan Ag Commodities' Chris Betts.
Thanks, Janelle. Trade has been subdued after a dud of a WASDE report last week, which didn't contain any real surprises to inspire markets to break trends. Weekly government data continues to catch up after the shutdown. The trend for export data so far has been below expectations. Data released Thursday for the week ending January 3rd showed soybeans and wheat at marketing year lows. Of course, this data is 6 weeks old, and we know significant export business has been done since. Moisture continues to make its way back into forecasts in trouble spots in South America, which will benefit late-planted soybeans, as well as early development for second-crop corn. News out of trade talks in Beijing between the U.S. and China were limited throughout the week, but perhaps that is a good thing. President Trump has hinted at extending the March 1st deadline to extend tariffs on Chinese goods if the two sides are close to an agreement. For now, crops look content to bounce sideways without much bullish news to go on. For more market information, go to michiag.com. With Michigan Agricultural Commodities, I'm Chris Betts.
For more news and video, visit MichiganFarmNews.com and the Michigan Farm Bureau channel on YouTube. With Farm News 5, I'm Janelle Brose. Have a great week of farming.